So, the reason why I put Potfist so low is simply because I see it all the time. Don't get me wrong, it's a very good and appealing engine, I just see it so many times. A lot of people use it. I also use it myself from time to time, but not too often. It kinda sounds like I'm hating on Potfist, but I'm really not. I still think Potfist is a great engine to use. Actually, underneath the Streamlined casing, it's just a normal NS3700, which is one of my favorite trains, and you might see it later on this list. Also, if you didn't know, Potfist is a Game Pass because it doesn't fit Streamline's time period, so that's kinda cool. It's also been available since Streamline's launch. Overall, Potfist is a great train that definitely deserves to be on this list. I think it deserves to be placed in the number 10 spot. Let's move on to the greater ones. SS326 is an interesting one. Although not having great stats, it's still a pretty cool train that's kinda underrated, because unlike Potfist, I never see anyone driving this train. But what makes me like it so much? First of all, I really like the trains that have an open cab that shows your avatar driving the train. I've mentioned this in my 200 sub special video. I also just really like its livery. It stands out from the others in my opinion. Usually I'm not a fan of highlighter green trains, but this one really works with that color. This train really reminds me of the LSWR Adams Class 415, as they both have a very similar shade of green. I think I really only like these two engines with this highlighter green livery. They really fit it. You could get SS326 by purchasing the Preserved 4 Game Pass for 400 Robux. The real-life counterpart of this engine is currently preserved at the Dutch National Railway Museum, in a noticeably different shade of green than the game version. I think this engine really deserves to be on the list, and it's definitely one of my favorites. SS13 is actually really similar to the SS326. They both have open cabs and driver animations. They are both in the Preserved 4 Game Pass, both look very similar, etc. This engine also used to be my favorite, and it was even in my old profile picture, before I changed it to the CNR 6200. I can't really say why I like it so much, it's just so iconic to me for some reason, and I always find myself using it. This engine is also preserved in the same museum as the SS326. They're almost like brothers. I think this engine really deserves to be on this list, as I have a soft spot for it. That's pretty much it for that engine. I don't really have anything else to say. So, to some people, this is going to be an odd choice, but yeah, NS3200 is one of my favorites. There's nothing really notable about this engine, I just simply like it because of how underused and underrated it is. As mentioned in the 200 sub special video, I think this engine gained some deserved attention when the anniversary counterpart of this engine was released for Streamline's 5th year anniversary. I've always been a fan of engines that aren't as appreciated as the others, and that's mainly why I like this engine so much. This engine is also pretty cheap, being 55,000 golden at level 11, so you have access to this amazing train early on. Here are some cool facts about this engine taken from the official Streamlined wiki, which you should definitely check out, as the people who wrote it put a lot of effort into it. The in-game model features a bell, which are only present on some of the members in the series, not all. The whistle sounds of the NS3200 are from the British SECR C-Class, a similarly proportioned C-Class. The NS3200 was added in version 0.4.3. I love everything about the NS6000. It works really well with engines like Potfist, NS4000, and NS3700. I love its design, it has great stats, etc. This engine is so fun and satisfying to drive. I've always been a fan of those really long tank engines, and I don't know why. I also really like this engine's wheel arrangement, being 464. I don't know, I just personally really like that wheel arrangement. To be honest, the first engine that comes to mind when thinking of this game is the NS6000. For some reason I consider it the mascot of Streamlined, when it's probably the starter trains. You were probably expecting this engine to be on this list. USATC S160 is a great train that comes with the War Department Game Pass, and it's one of the best trains in it. This engine also has two liveries, both of which are pretty cool. This engine is also one of the OGs, because it was released with the launch of the game. To be honest, there's nothing really wrong with this train in my opinion. It's a great and usable train that has a somewhat decent top speed and a good capacity, while looking really cool. This engine is also pretty unique because it's one of the only American trains in the game, along with the USATC S100 and the NS2000. I always use the NS3700. Like NS6000, I usually pair this engine up with NS4000. They work so well together. As mentioned earlier, this is an unstreamlined version of Potvis. The main reason why I put this engine way above Potvis is because, well, it's basically Potvis but better. It goes 5 kilometers faster than Potvis, and they both have the same passenger classes, being 3 first, 3 second. Although Potvis looks really cool and comes with the Game Pass, I personally think the NS3700 looks better. Like the NS6000, this is one of the main engines that comes to mind when I think of Streamlined. Unrelated, but here's a picture of NS8600 and 2 NS3700s. This picture was taken somewhere between 1925 to 1938. It was taken from the official Streamlined wiki. I just thought it'd be cool to share. Here it is, the BR50. This engine was going to make it on the list one way or another. This is one of the most beloved trains in the game, with a cool design, cool sounds, etc. I honestly like everything about this engine. The standard red and black livery is just so iconic, and the grayish black UK livery is awesome. This is arguably one of the best engines in the game, mostly because of its crazy capacity, being 760 tons, the second highest capacity in the game currently. Although quite expensive, it's definitely worth it. I said that so many times in the 200 sub special. But yeah, BR50 is awesome. But I still have 2 other favorites. Let's get into my second favorite locomotive in Streamlined. I love the NS5500. Again, like I said with the NS6000, I've always been a fan of long tank engines, and here's another and better example. The main reason why I like this train so much is simply its design. Again, I also really like the wheel arrangement, being 442. Also, I find it really funny how this engine, a small tank engine with the average 2 cylinders, has a higher capacity than the huge NS3600, which has 4 cylinders. This engine was almost an OG, because it was planned to release on the game's launch day, but that ended up not happening, and was instead added in version 0.4.24. There was also an electric variant of this engine for the Streamlined event, and I wish I got to see it in game. Alright, that's about it for that engine. Now, what engine is my favorite? A few of you are gonna know it, but a few might not. Am I gonna pick it? Am I really gonna pick that one? Oh, you guys know me so well. It's the NS4000. Time to go on a little rant about why this engine is my favorite. NS4000 is my favorite train in the game. Why? Well, let me walk you through. First of all, this engine, in my opinion, has the coolest design out of every train in Streamlined. That dark green looks so good on it, and those smoke deflectors were a nice touch, and I feel like I wouldn't like it as much as I do now if it didn't have smoke deflectors. This engine also shares the same speed with the NS3950, which, if you didn't know, is the most expensive train in the game currently. This is basically my default engine. If I don't know what train to use, I just end up using this guy. This engine is incredible for grinding with passengers, and will get you a lot of golden and XP. What makes me like this engine even more is that it's an OG, because it was released on Streamline's launch. This engine is surprisingly and weirdly cheap, being only 95,000 golden at level 27, which means early level players can get it fairly easily. Overall, NS4000 is a 10 out of 10 engine with absolutely nothing wrong with it in my opinion. And that brings us to the end of the video. There you have it, my top 10 favorite trains in Streamlined. This is easily the best video I've made so far, and it's my favorite too. It didn't take me ages to complete, unlike the 200 sub special. This video was also released on my birthday, so consider this video a gift. I should probably say thank you guys for 300 subs. It's been a pleasure being able to make videos for you all, and I'm happy to keep going. Thanks for the endless support, and I'll see you in the next one. For now, here's some shoutouts and an awesome song by Silverchair, which hopefully won't get me a copyright strike.